Greetings, this is Kate, and I'm going to tell you a secret today, because it's time to come clean. I have been creating another show. It's not you, I just need to get it out of my system. It's about Game of Thrones. Feels really good. Get that off my chest. I've been evangelizing this book series for about 10 years now, and in April of this year, I was invited to join a long-running podcast called Game of Owns with three wonderful nerds that I've never actually met in person, and we talk about Game of Thrones every week, and we have a blast. But there's some exciting news that just came out yesterday, and so my worlds are kind of colliding into one. The Game of Thrones title has been attached to some pretty subpar games, and I think it's partially because the game studios who have been licensed to make these games, generally speaking, make other kinds of games, not traditionally RPG studios. The only exception I can think of is Game of Thrones Ascent, which is a mobile game, and it's actually terrific if you're into that kind of thing. It's very deep, it's very meaty. But now, Telltale Games, which has a terrific record when it comes to releasing games that are based on established properties like The Walking Dead or The Wolf Among Us, came out with a trailer for their highly anticipated, by me at least, Game of Thrones game just yesterday.
For centuries, the Foresters have been loyal bannermen to House Stark. A house of traitors. You rely on your ironwood, that much is clear. It would be a shame to see it fall into the hands of another house. I imagine you'd do anything to prevent that from happening. Wouldn't you?
When you first watch it, the trailer may seem woefully uninformative, but there are a few things you can pick out of it. First of all, you may notice that the narrator sounds a lot like Lena Headey, and that is because it is. She is one of 4 of the established show cast members who have signed on to reprise their roles in Telltale's game series. Peter Dinklage, who plays Tyrion Lannister, Natalie Dormer as Marjorie Tyrell, Iwan Rheon as Ramsay Snow. I probably said that wrong. So these are the 4 members confirmed from the cast who will be reprising their roles. And rumor has it that more cast members may be revealed as the series goes on. The game is set just after the end of season 3 of the television show, and the series will continue until just before season 5 of the television show. So to put that in perspective for you, season 3 is when, spoiler alert by the way, if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, do not listen to this next part. Just stop the video, go watch Game of Thrones and come back. The entire thing. Yes, it will take you 40 hours. So, end of season 3. Robb has died. Tyrion has wedded Sansa but hasn't bedded her yet. Stannis got a distress call from the Wall. Theon has been captured and tortured by Ramsay. Just so you can put into perspective what events will have happened just before you start the beginning of the first game. And it goes through season 5. So those are the events. Season 4 is what happened this year already. Season 5 will be rolling out in the spring of next year. So this game series is going to be an awesome way to bridge the gap and kind of get you prepared for season 5. So just like other recent Telltale games, this story will be structured such that decisions that you make in certain storylines will have a ripple effect and affect the character progression and story of other playable characters. You'll be jumping around in the perspective of 5 different characters, I believe, who are all members of the House Forrester family. So let's talk about House Forrester for a second. Who the F are they? Here's what the book has to say about House Forrester. And I quote, "Trackers and hunters sworn to Deepwood with clan names like Forrester and Woods, Branch, and Bull." That's it. I need this. So we have a description from Telltale, who have fleshed out a lot of what's going on with House Forrester. Their house seat, their sort of like Winterfell is for the Starks, is called Iron Wrath. It sits in the middle of a giant forest, and House Forrester controls a great deal of the ironwood supply for the kingdom, which is what all the best ships and crap are made out of. So it's it's a big deal that this natural resource that they control. People aren't sure whether to be excited or not that George R.R. Martin is working on something other than the next book, but George Martin is not the one directly consulting on this game. That honor goes to his personal assistant, Ty Corey Frank, who has been working for George for years, and so you don't have to get your undies in a bunch. George is still working on the books. I am so excited for this game that I made a wallpaper today with the house sigil and words of House Forrester, and I'll put that in the info below if you want to check it out and use it for yourself. I like it. Telltale's Game of Thrones series will be released on Windows, Mac, iOS, PS3, PS4, 360, and Xbox One, with I think other platforms to be announced. So you'll probably be able to play it. When does it come out, you may ask? Telltale has not given a concrete release date yet, but judging by the history that they have when it comes to releasing trailers, the fact that a trailer for the first episode has dropped, that generally means that the game will be out sometime in the next couple weeks. Steam's page currently says December 2014, so I would be thinking we'd get it maybe the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, if I'm being wishful, but we'll see. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. We hit another milestone goal last week, which I think makes 5 or 6, and we're very, very close to another one. You are my precious humans, and it means so much to me. Thank you so much to have this kind of support from people that seem to want me to continue making my show. I really appreciate it. Go check it out. Go see what we're up to. Patreon.com/Kate, or come talk to me on Twitter. Say hi. I'm at SheGeekShow. And if you're interested in the little podcast that I do called Game of Owns, I'll put a link to that in the info below so you can check us out. Have a fantastic weekend, and if you are here in the US, have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And remember, it's just fucking video games. Da 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 da. I don't even need McLean. Write my own theme song.